विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धे भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् हरि ओम कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् Today our topic is death. This is a topic which breaks a person, shakes a person, but many times this is the topic which makes a person start introspecting. This is a truth, isn't it? About death. This is something which is a truth which we have to accept. Can we say, I don't accept death? Will it make a difference if I don't accept it? This is the thing, because we don't accept it, it creates the entire difficulty. Arjuna, in the very first adhyaya of the Bhagavad Gita, we see he is in a, you can say, Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra. So it's a Kurukshetra, it's a Dharma Kshetra, but it is also a Mrityu Kshetra. The impending Mrityu of so many people that he feels, my own dear ones, my near ones, that is what shakes him completely. And second adhyaya, one of the first instructions about death is only given by Krishna to Arjuna. Can someone recollect from second adhyaya? What is it that Krishna says first to Arjuna? Yes, Rajiv ji? Yes, sir.
Well, on the aspect of death, he has been saying one thing: "Nota sochitum arhasi." There is no
No
need to.
Shojit.
I mean, that is the uh, that is the idea which is there. So there is a lot of discussion on this, and the discussion is basically, I mean, whether the Atma can be killed, it cannot. Finally, he says that whether it can be killed or cannot be killed. If it is, if you take it that it is going to be born and also die, even in that case, there is
In
no
that case,
reason to be to sorrow over this particular event. I mean,
okay.
that is what
That
Krishna is saying in
yes,
the
sir.
beginning of the Gita.
Yes, sir. So Rajiv ji has perfectly said. He says, see, understand, Arjuna, there is a spirit inside. This is spirit is the eternal one. This will not perish. Nainam chindati shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha. No inferno can incinerate, no fire will be able to burn it, no wind can dry it, no water can wet it, no weapon can cut it. Such is this Atman. And yet, and yet, Krishna says, even if you don't believe there is an Atman, still, can you do anything? If you say, I don't believe in death, it is around us, isn't it? It is something which is unavoidable. So Krishna says, whether or not you believe there is a spirit, getting emotionally disturbed, getting flustered, getting frustrated over it is of no use. Na shochitum arhasi. This is not the way. This immediately shows us that there is a it's like a duality, isn't it? Death and life. Life we accept, death we reject. We do not accept that this is there. But there is something called deha buddhi, the mind that is connected, our intelligence that is connected with the deha. And our deha is changing, isn't it? Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara. Krishna says in the Gita that childhood, youth, old age, these are all changes that are going to take place inside or on the outside of the body. But there is something that does not change. And this is one of the four truths that has to be accepted. That has to be accepted. That is Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. These are four truths. Krishna says the wise person, the awakened one, is the one who is able to see with samatha. The Samatvam yoga uchyate, it is said. With samatha, you are able to accept all these four. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. Birth, for somebody who is born, death is certain. Someone who has died, birth is certain. So there is Janma, there is Mrityu. Jara is Vyadhi. It is so simple. Jara, old age. Doesn't it come to everybody? Every one of us. It is once we were all kids, we were little children. Now we have crossed that. And this is something which is very, very common. And yet, this is the mystery. Why is it that we do not understand? Or why is it that we don't accept it? Can someone tell me or can someone guess what is the reason why we don't accept it? Yes, it is a natural thing, isn't it? But why is it not accepted? Can someone just guess? Because it is Gita Talks. It should not be monologue from my side only.
Maybe because we are all very scared.
Ha, okay, ji. Shruti ji has said one thing. That is maybe fear, isn't it? Fear of
Have
what?
fear.
Fear of
Fear
that
of death,
unknown.
fear of the unknown, fear
Yes,
of
yes.
lots of stupid doubts like if I go, uske baad kya hoga? Parivar. I mean,
Ha.
lots of stupid things, I guess. But yes,
Hmm.
क्या
Yeah,
होगा
yeah.
उसका क्या
Maybe,
होगा
maybe
उसका
it
क्या
is not.
होगा.
Yeah, maybe it is not stupid, but yes, this is what we can say the fear, the
Not
unknown
stupid
aspect.
actually, yes.
Yeah,
But from the common point of view, man's point of view, it is like we always think मैं नहीं रहूंगी तो उसका क्या होगा, ये क्या करेंगे, वो क्या. Yes, the world goes on, but this is what we think, the fear.
ha. Because then we attach to what is the outside, isn't it? Everything on the
Yes.
outside. And because we are attached with what is on the outside, so we say, "Eh, whatever is there, whatever I see with my senses, whatever I feel, whatever I understand, or whatever I know only exists. What I does not, what I don't experience cannot exist." So, consciousness, is it present everywhere? Yes, consciousness. Is it present? Anybody? Do you agree? Chetana or consciousness, isn't it present everywhere?
Yes,
Yes, yes.
It is present everywhere,
Yes,
isn't
it
it?
is. Yes, yes.
But we cannot see it on the outside, isn't it?
Right.
It is not vyakta, which is avyakta, and yet it exists. So there is something, there is a knowledge which is behind or which is beyond what we understand or which we call deha buddhi. And when we learn to cross over that, then these little insecurities, the little thoughts, little worries, little, mostly it comes out of ahankar only. And ahankar is also a part of prakriti. My attachment, my person, it is said that most of the time it is I only which makes a person most disturbed. Means somebody passes away, you are shedding tears, but if you go deeper and see, those tears are also because of you, the connection of that person with you, or that person's departure is reminding you of a truth, of a higher truth, of existence which you are not wanting to accept. Now, this was what was told first to me by my teacher. This was nearly, Kamleji had told this to me right after I had joined him. I was very emotional. I had tears for almost everybody. People I know, people I don't know, people in. I had read an article in Reader's Digest, and for the children in Darfur village, I was sitting and crying without knowing what I am going to do. One nice question Damleji asked me was, "Whose tears can you wipe while you are yourself crying?" That was like light bulb moment. What can I do? I can sit and cry with one more person who is crying. But if I want to wipe somebody's tears, first thing is I'll have to stop crying and try to show light or do something to wipe another's tears. So somewhere I'll have to keep my sorrow, my emotion, everything aside. Only then I will be able to understand. But this full knowledge that it is felt, no, everybody cries for themselves. This is what Damleji told, which I didn't fully understand or which I did not want to accept. Now, what happens when you don't accept the truth? Anybody? What happens when you don't accept the truth? Yes, sir.
there's one point I wanted to bring up.
All right, I'll just come to you after probably Shruti ji and Payal ji says. They'll come to Rajiv ji after that. Yes, Shrutiji or Payalji, anybody. What happens when you don't accept the truth?
When we
It
remain
hurts more.
ignorant,
Okay, I think who said it? Payalji said it hurts more, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Shrutiji, you were saying?
I mean, for me, I'm saying that we remain ignorant, and it keeps hurting us more, and there's
It
no
keeps
kind
hurting.
of solution because we keep being ignorant, or in the darkness itself, we are going round and round.
Yeah, and especially when it is Guru Vachan, and you don't fully accept Guru's Vachan, then you fall on your face and then only you have to understand or realize it. So something like that happened to me. But before I go to that, yes, Rajiv ji was saying something. Yes, please. Yes, sir.
See, I wanted to bring up a point. Uh, the thing is that there are some instincts that we are born with, and this could be nature, which is actually creating these instincts on us. Love is one such instinct which is given to us.
Love is beyond instinct, maybe, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
But fear as an instinct is actually designed to protect life. I mean, why do we have this fear as a it's an instinctive thing which will actually refrain us from getting into dangers so that life continues. I mean, that I thought was a basic instinct which came into us, and then as we grow up, this instinct is something which we have to overcome, and that is, I mean, it is between life and death, and that is why that instinct is a very powerful instinct and becomes a problem for us to accept this particular thing about death. I mean, we don't look at death as naturally as we look at life. We look at it as an abnormal event. We wish that it never happens. We do not want to face it. I mean, all those are actually driven by the propensity that we have given by nature to live and
Okay.
to live as much as possible. So
Okay.
I think
Yes.
this could be one of the things which could be related to.
Okay. Okay. Fear is an instinct, or it is like a sanskara, we can call it.
Yes.
Because a sadhak in the Gita also we see one of the Devi Swabhava again which person is born with Abhayam Sattva Sanshuddhi. It is fearlessness. Means the divine ones are born with fearlessness. Look at Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Fearless. Young boy, he's thinking of what is he dreaming? People would say it is mad. What there is Adil Shahs, there are these topikers on this side, the Mughals there, all sides, and young boy says, no, me and my friends are going to get a killa of our own. I mean, where is that fear factor? Well, so maybe sanskara. What is sanskara? We may look at it. Raghaviji wants to say something. Yes, please. Please unmute Ji. And these are Gita
Yes,
talks, so we are all free to talk anytime. No need to even ask. Yes, please.
Hari Om, sir.
Namaste Ji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Ji.
Yeah,
Namaste Ji.
Hari Om. I would just like to add, sir, right from the part of the conscious state that you mentioned a little while earlier. Consciousness, again, is an intangible state, as you always taught us. And I still remember that when Amma passed away, you told me about a group of people in Pondicherry that they grieve silently. Again, I thought that was the highest source of acceptance. Like I remember vividly that, I mean, more clearly I remember you told me that a mother lost a young child and
Didn't.
she was there.
Didn't.
She was sitting in
Yes.
silence. And she
Silence.
was coming out
Yeah.
with, she was
Yes.
totally
Yes.
controlling her,
Yes.
tears.
It,
She was
yes. Yes. Yes.
totally laid
I
back
was.
and she was
Yes.
totally silent. I think this degree of acceptance comes only when there's consciousness. And I think that's a realization. It's a channel. And as the Gita has taught us, as you have taught us, every passing day, every passing chapter will get us to that reality. As you go through the whole, the conscious state, in the Krishna conscious state, I think the path is only realization, and it's a channel. It's a clarity there. When you reach the state where everything is Krishna consciousness, everything is consciousness, and you can achieve anything. No, obviously the parting of a loved one is definitely painful, the physical body of a loved one. And then when you slowly get onto the acceptance path is when you realize that they're with you. You get the power, you get the clarity of the whole thing.
No,
That
they are not there. They are not
yeah,
away. They are not away. That
yes,
feeling that comes in. That realization comes. No, okay, they are. That is consciousness does not leave, isn't it?
Yes, sir,
In our
definitely.
heart. They're there in our heart. For me, my biggest sorrow in life started with the passing away of my grandparents, whom I loved very, very, very much. And it happened one after the other. First, my grandfather, then my grandmother, and I was not accepting it only. It was like, what is this? Where have they gone? Why have they gone? They should not have gone. They should have been there for me. Now imagine all grandchildren say this. Still, how many grandchildren can the grandparents be with? It is again Swartha only. The Swartha comes inside without our knowing. But as Raghaviji has rightly said, yes. And that example which Raghaviji said now, suddenly I also remember that moment again. A young boy had passed away in an accident, and his mother and everybody else had come, and it was a shock. It was a shock because young, healthy person has passed away. It is a very difficult moment, and yet normally you see people cry out loud. You'll see somebody broken and weeping, which is all understandable. We are normal human beings. We will have emotions. All of that is fine. But I was so surprised this quietude, and I looked at my teacher also. He knew the person. He was also very calm. He went, touched the hand, held the hand for some time, and again stood separately. Everybody was quiet. Quiet only, not a word spoken. It was as if in meditation. Later on, I heard what I came to know. Sri Aurobindo had talked about it. I think in the Bhagavad Gita, we have talked about the journey of the soul in the 8th Adhyay. Yogis, the yogis are so conscious that they're able to choose their marga. There are actual pathways. There is a science, there is a metaphysics behind the journey, which is journey of, it is all again, avyakta maybe not present does not mean it's not there. It is consciousness, it's energy flow which is taking place. There is a Shukla Marga, there is a Krishna Marga, and what yogis or even non-yogis also with the real Shraddha, if they pray, they can actually help in the forward movement of the departed one also. It is said you keep why this particular group like in ashram sadhaks, many of them don't immediately they are having tears, but they hold back their tears. They say, no, my personal emotions my personal emotions should not block the onward journey of the soul. I will hold on to my tears, yes, quietly, and support. Raghaviji also say something?
Yes,
Yes,
I
please.
really remember in the time of grief also you had told me that, and you told me that it was a message from Damleji also, that you should pray for her onward journey. And you gave me such beautiful examples. I think my grief just took over to another level then. You told me what was more important was to pray for her onward journey. And I remember I'd written a poem also. Can I talk about this? So as you
Yes,
mentioned
most
now,
welcome.
that the
Yes, yes.
journey of the soul, you gave me the same example that Sri Aurobindo had quoted, the journey of the soul and the metaphysics part. Can I, or shall I
Most
quote it
welcome.
later?
No, it's most welcome. It's a very extempore dialogue that all of us are having. Most welcome.
No, I'd shared it long ago, 3, 4 years ago on the
Yes,
group. I'll
yes,
just
I
read it out
remember
now.
that. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
the journey, a journey of our true self, the soul. The soul, thy erstwhile travels are unknown, a secret best kept unraveled. Thy journey breaks barriers withheld through space and time. Thy presence and absence behold many an emotion to balance duality. I remember you had explained the duality in such a nice way, sir. The very essence of duality came up that time. Again, it has relative meanings, but at that moment, momentarily for death, it was the duality, it was totally expandable. The explanation that you had given us. Behold thy mere physical shell that perishes inevitably. Eventually, thy journey continues. For in reality, the soul is eternal. Realize and be liberated. And
True.
again, the example, time and again, you would begin and give us was the one where, again, as old clothes are
Not
discarded
removing.
for new ones, it's the
Yes.
soul.
That
It's
is the
again,
Bhagavad Gita's
yeah,
example.
the
Yes,
Bhagavad Gita,
Krishna.
from the Bhagavad Gita.
Yes,
That is
yes.
something which will definitely strike in, and that one shloka is understood. I think conscious state is again a journey to
Yes,
begin from within.
yes, absolutely, Raghaviji. Thank you. And it is wonderful you have kept that poem also. If you can again
Yes,
share it in the Delight group, it will be very nice for all of us
I will.
to read it because some
Yes.
poems have to be read slowly, and it is more, and the experience becomes more, what we can say, deeper when we read to it, listen to it, and or read a poem in silence. So I think yes. So this is the thing. We have to let go. We have to allow the departed one to pass. We have to. It is our ankar somehow or the other. When Damliji told me tears, it is whenever a person has tears, also many times it is for the self, for the individual self only. And Damleji's experiences are very crazy. What he has had when his guru had passed away, he saw the Divya Purushas also, and he was his guru had to indicate with hand to don't stop the journey because he did not accept it. In that time, there was something he said only one. He said he directly learned what is nirpeksha ashru. That is something which goes without expectation. But otherwise, 99.9% of the time, the tears that we shed on the loss are connected with some amount of swartha. But the problem was my head was not ready to accept this. What they say, when the pot is not ready, it is something like that. So the kacha madka, they say something like that. I heard it, but I did not fully understand. I said, yes, maybe, all right, because just that time a friend informed me that his mother passed away and he was in tears. I said, that is a genuine tears. I did not want to think that, no, no, this boy is my classmate. No. So he is my friend and he is having only genuine tears. He is not having any other swartha. Whatever his tears are all right because I had not understood that concept. And that was when I got the very strange experience. I went to meet him. As I went to meet him that night, it was actually that day only all the kriyas had been started, all the people had gathered around, and he started telling me, my mother left too soon. She did not do this for me. She did not do that for me. She was like this. She was. It was just going on and on, and still I didn't. When you're having a little some kind of attachment, you don't see the full truth. So somewhere I was still holding on to give him the benefit of doubt. This is not swartha. This is natural. These emotions are good. It is all right. This may be selfless. This is what I kept thinking. But something strange he asked me after all the guests had left. I was with him. He asked me, will my mother haunt me? I was like shocked. What a question is this? Are you afraid about this now? That your dear mother, who has always loved you, you are now afraid that she might become a ghost and she'll haunt you. For what? What kind of fear is this? So that is Swartha only. So one thing is death as such is a concept which shakes a person, but it does not have to break a person completely. It initiates the sadhana. It is the opening, it is the turning, it is the inward turning of the soul to realize something, a truth that is transcendent, a truth that is omnipresent, the truth that is present forever, which is eternal, that was, that is, and that will be. Our bodies are going through changes. They will go through changes because this is the rule of the Srishti, and we are part of this Srishti. But does that mean our body is useless, tuchha, useless, or dirty, or a matter of which is perishable, so it's temporary? Can we ignore it? If it is going to perish, why should we bother about it? Is this approach right? Anybody? If yes, why yes? Or if no, why not? Gita also clearly tells us something. Yes, Dr. Surajji. Yes, Vaidya. Vaidya is yes,
ఈ
sir.
శరీరమాద్యం ఖలు ధర్మ సాధనం because
Okay, okay.
only with the tool of this body we can do our karma and everything,
Yes,
sadhana,
yes,
anything. Then we
everything.
need this body to, as long as that comes, we are responsible to take care of this body.
Absolutely. We got it directly from the Vaidya who is doing the chikitsa and treatment of the body and maybe on the inside also because it is said, no, Aushadhi Janavi Toyam Vaidyo Narayano Hari. So Vaidya is no less than Narayana and the medicine
Everything
is
is
no,
Narayana.
no less than the Janavi river, Ganga, the medicine that comes from the Vaidya. Sometimes it is said Vaidya's words are also sufficient for the patient. They are medicine. Some Vaidyas are there who just
Yes,
say
yes.
this, you will become
Just
all right.
seeing that doctor will cure the half the
Ha ha.
diseases.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, yes. So absolutely. Shariram Adhyam Khalu Dharma Sadhanam. So our body is something which we have to take care because sadhana is going to take place, our life journey. Just because I have a very good vehicle, does that mean I'll never do maintenance of it? No, I want to use it for a long time. How long? Upanishad says full lifespan, 100 years of human beings. Means kurvanneveha karmani jijivishechatam samaha evam tvai nanyatetosti na karma lipyate nare. Means you have to perform your works for a full lifespan of 100 years. And it says, means how should the attitude be? Isha vasyam midam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat. All belongs to the divine. Everything, living, non-living, everything in the world. Knowing the owner, joyously partake. Whatever is given, you take and enjoy. Enjoy the bhoga also of the experience of life. Krishna says, he says, remember me and offer. That is all. But enjoy what comes to you. On a hot day, you get a cool breeze. Is it a sin to experience the joy of that breeze? Or is it more better to say, thank you, God, it came directly from you? It is the divine breeze, isn't it? We can you can attribute it to the divinity and it becomes all the more special, isn't it? We'll not call it fluke when we attribute it to the divine. We are able to maybe at least for that moment connect with the divinity. So this is something which we have to take care of the body, and this is there everywhere in the Upanishads also. If I see our earlier rishis also, they lived very long lives. They ate less, but still somehow they were strong physically also. They had great control over their body. They had great control over their minds also. So, is
One
Dr.
more
Suraj, you
thing
want?
I'd
Yes.
like to add, in the history of Ayurveda, the beginning
Uh,
itself, why this Ayurveda came to be is because of rishis and munis. They are fighting in this materialistic world and trying to learn things. They lose their life, this period of life, before completing these studies. So they ask the gods to what to do to prolong our life so that we can complete our studies. That is what really the beginning of Ayurveda.
that was the beginning of Ayurveda, life
Hmm.
knowledge, life knowledge, isn't it? It is
Yeah,
like
do's and don'ts. Don'ts.
yes, yes. And there are so many devatas. Pushan, Bhagwan. Pushan is the Lord who nourishes. And the prayer is Swastina Indro Vruddhashravaha Swastina Pusha Vishwavedaha Swastina Tarksho Arishthanemihi Swastino Bruhaspatir Dhatu. Make me healthy. Stirai Rangai Sushtuvan Swastanubihi. It says that way. Strong bodies I want to have because sadhaks, who are the sadhaks? Now, if I can just turn the camera, you can see here. If I can, I don't know, I'm able to zoom. You can see the photo of Parashurama. You see, he was muscular, strong, so strong as well as with the Sharira also, the Manasik Bala also, the Tapo Bala also, everything. Agratas Chaturu Veda Prushtatah Sharasandhanu Idam Brahmam Idam Kshatram Shapadapi Sharadapi. I'll curse with my weapons also. I can slay with my curses also. Four Vedas are in front of me. Behind is my this Dhanu as well as the axe. That was how he was. So, one thing is this Sharira. Yes, it is Sharira is temporary. But did we make our own Sharira? No, it came to us. We received it. So then we have a duty. Our duty is a caretaker's duty, no? When somebody gives you, your friend gives you some very important position, what do you do with it? You keep it more carefully than you would keep your own possession. Something like that. Well, that is the realization which one must understand that this life, this full life, because if we live this way, then Krishna's consciousness will work inside of us. Krishna's consciousness will bring about a transformation. Mukam karoti vachalam. The dumb person also will start speaking eloquently. Panghum langhayate girim. The one who is not able to even walk can then climb the biggest mountain with krupa. Krishna has told that, and he is told in the Gita in 100 ways, so many places. Dadame buddhi yogam tam. I'll give you that knowledge. I'll give you that buddhi, which will set you apart. So first thing again, it all boils down to this, because even in Bhagavad Gita, the transformation of Arjuna from a skeptic to a seeker takes place because of this death only. I think, was it Avaniji? Is she present? I think she was present and has gone offline. She had asked a question. Adi Yagna, Adi Deva, Adi Bhuta. This question was asked in the 8th Adhyaya by Arjuna, right after Krishna talked about Prayana Kala. So, Avaniji asked, how do we ensure Prayana Kala? How do we ensure that in Prayana Kala we'll have Smaran of the Divine? Before that, we need to understand when is Prayana Kala. Can anybody tell when is the Prayana Kala? Can I say it's going to come to me guaranteed after this many years only? Can I give a full guarantee?
No.
No, no. Rajiv just rightly said. I do not know. Prayana Kala can come right now if it has to. Then Krishna wishes, or it will come afterwards. It is his wish, his call, his day, his moment. Raghaviji wants to add something. Yes, please. Yes, ji.
Yes, I would like to add 2, 3 instances now. Again, Prayana Kala is our virtue, our karmas and our faith
Uh-huh.
and our conscious state. So being in the state of constant consciousness is the
Yes,
only way to acceptance,
it is the only way.
and naturally
Okay.
the smaran comes at that time.
So it is not
Yeah,
like you are
and
going
I
to
would maybe
fool.
like to quote my,
You would like to quote?
yes, my great grandmother's, my mother's
Huh.
grandmother's incident. Now I
Yes.
think this is the apt time. My mother
Yes, please.
clearly remembered her, her father telling them, and her grandmother. She was a pious woman. On Vaikunth Ekadasi day, she told her, see, they have Palharam on that day. And she said, the Vimanam has come. I have to leave. My time has come. And it happened.
How
So that is something that we can only, relate to, because Amma quoted it. I don't even remember her quoting it to me. Then I realized she shared her experience when the time came on the class,
in the class she had
and then
come
it
8th
was very
Adhyay?
relatable to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and she was talking in
eighth
present
Adhyaya.
tense. She was talking in present tense. So I remember
Yeah,
very specifically she was talking in such a sweet manner. It was in present tense, and I was suddenly, who are you talking about? And then it was so natural. It's like how we book a cab, isn't it? That yes, my cab has
yeah,
arrived.
yes,
Something
sir.
like that. My
Yes,
Vimana has come. And it to happen.
like we could see it.
Yeah, yeah, she saw it and then she passed away after that. After that.
Yes,
Means,
yes,
and if you see, Santa Tukaram had Sadeha Vaikuntha, he had gone. If you see,
yes.
he had also the same thing, experience was there. It is there in the stories, but we have a practical lived experience with us today. That is a blessing. Raghaviji is talking about her grandmother, great grandmother.
Great grandmother.
Great, yes.
Yeah. And I think it was the same for Amma the time. Maybe the time came and
Mm.
the divine
Yes.
knew. And I had completed my classes and I enrolled Amma. And I
He
think she
was
was in
talking
that
about the
state of
Gita.
consciousness. She
He
would
was
talk
talking to
about the
Gita
Gita.
to
She wrote,
everybody.
yeah, to
So
everyone. Each day she learned from Sir, she would share it with one family member at least. She wouldn't sleep until then, and she kept writing. And then 15 days after that, she was in the hospital and she was in that state. I think consistency
see,
is another passage
because
to consciousness.
she was already well versed with the Gita, from what I understand. She already knew
Yes,
about the Gita, and she's somebody who's lived an entire life. So for such a person who has lived the entire life, Prayana Kala doesn't make too much of a difference. It does not. It is no fear at all. Means, it is something which nothing. It is not at all a moment of fear. Like if you see, Tukaram had talked about even forget moksha. He had said very clearly. He had very nicely said, what was that quote, if I try to recollect. Anybody remembers? I think we had looked at it about, again, give me birth once more. That is what he said. Sukhe, ha, tuka mane hamasi, sukhe ghalave garbhavasi. Tuka tells me, give me another birth in this world. Why? Well, there is another bhajan which says, Kumodini kaya zane parimala. What does the lotus know? The joy Brahmara receives when he gets the taste of nectar. The lotus does not know it. Something like that. The bhakta only knows what is the joy of having the smaran of the divine. Where does the divine know that? So I don't mind. Punarapi Jalma, Punarapi Marana. That is what, but ultimately, as Raghaviji also talked about, it is the soul's karma, the kala. There are so many factors which play and govern that journey. So Tukaram had wanted one more birth, but he got Vaikuntha, he got moksha directly. That was his karmas. That he actually even offered to his wife because his punyai was so much. His wife, who was part of his life, his what we say ardhangini, she's he said, come with me. She said, no, I don't want to come. She did not go. She chose not to walk on that path. Because again, yathechasi tatha kuru. No one is forcing anybody on the spiritual path. The journey is free. Rajiv ji wants to say something. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I wanted to share an experience. I mean, this is
Yes, sir.
before I started reading the Gita or even knew anything about it. My mother, she underwent cancer, and almost 2.5 years she went through various surgeries. And I saw her at the last moment of her life when she was in the ICU. And when the doctors told me that, now you should not. So when I went there, what I saw was that she wasn't focused. Although I was standing there, she wasn't looking at me. Okay, and she was turning from side to side. And the only words that I heard coming out from her mouth were Ram, Ram, Ram,
Aha.
Ram. She kept on doing
Ah,
that. And then she passed away in that. I didn't know why she did it. After reading the Gita, I came to know about this. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati samadbhavam yati nastatre samshaya. This I
Tatra
realized after
Samshaya.
reading. I said that my mother must have read this and she would know about this. That is why this moment came to her and she did that. So that is, and as I think
Beautiful.
Raghavi ji was also saying, what brings you to this at the last moment? Because this is not known to anybody. So the Gita also says this Ananya Chetaha Satatam. Yo mam smarati nityashaha. That is what she meant by saying that those who continuously have him in our in their consciousness, whenever the time comes, that is what is uppermost in their mind. And that is what is the learning which we take from the Gita. So
Absolutely, absolutely. Rajiv ji is another beautiful experience of Rajiv ji sharing about his mother and what a special moment it is that she had the smaran of Ram. It is said Ram naam ki loot hai, loot sako to loot, फिर अंत काल पछताएगा जब प्राण जाएगा छूट. So in life is there, then that is the time when we are healthy, when we are strong, when we are able to, that is the time for adhyatmic life also. Adhyatmic life and material life. Krishna has taken a eraser and quickly erased that line which divides material life and spiritual. They all are one. All life is
Mm.
yoga, as Sri Aurobindo says.
It is
Something.
also an act of surrenderment, complete surrender to your faith, your belief in Krishna, God, universe, supreme, whatever you may call it.
Ji,
And that is something we are so attached in our conscious life. We're attached to things, people we love, our children, whatever we worked for all our lives. So the attachment, like letting go, is not just letting go of attachment. I think letting go makes it even more challenging because we cannot let go the resistance to acceptance. It is not the letting go of the attachment, it's letting go of the resistance of acceptance. We just don't want to accept because we are so scared of uncertainty. What are we going to find beyond that acceptance is something we have never experienced, we don't want to experience. That fear of uncertainty will push us to change, to being different people. It will question everything that you ever lived and loved for. Your entire emotional DNA mental DNA, psychological DNA changes. You evolve,
जी, जी.
and then it comes like a calendar. Oh, I was like that before my mom died, before this happened, before that happened, and then there's going to be an after calendar. You have two versions of your life, and then we keep visiting to our previous versions because there was so much of sustainability. We knew what we were, and here we are on a new path of discovering our new selves. That can be extremely daunting, extremely. So we are not, we
Without
letting
a
go.
hand.
Yeah, without, yeah, we don't have a path. There's no Google Maps. We have never walked that route before. We don't know how smooth the road will be. If it's going to be highway, it's going to be terrain, if it's going to rain, if it's going to snow. We know nothing about it. So that fear, it brings that
Ah,
anxiousness.
but
And
alone,
then
isn't it?
yeah, absolutely. And then once, I think if you just completely surrender, okay, I am embracing this change
Embracing the
with
uncertainty.
ease. So
Wow, what a wonderful word.
you have to embrace it. If you keep resisting it, you are going to spend that much time of energy. Okay, so do you want to waste your energy, or do you want to invest your energies? When you
Take a
invest,
leap.
you're growing into something you've never been before. You are becoming this transformed version of yourself. So I think what we can do is not focus on what I am becoming, just become that, go, kind of, just
The
focus on
flow.
micro transformations. Okay, today I'm going to be this. I'm going to cry today. I'm okay. Tomorrow I might feel stronger. I'm okay. So this was my belief system before. Now my belief system is changing. It's evolving. It's got different seasons, different temperatures. Am I going to be okay with it?
So
The
we need something to
complete.
hold on to, but isn't it, in this period of
Yes,
uncertainty?
you will. Yeah, you definitely have to find your anchor. And
Anchor.
the beauty is your anchor will change every day. Some days your anchor is going to be something that someone told you, you resonated, something you read, or wisdoms of the enlightened sages, saints from, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, anything you read. It could be Bible, it could be Krishna, it could be Bhagavad Gita, it could be anything. That could be your anchor. Some days your anchor could be a strange person just asking you, or just that act of compassion and kindness. A stranger is going to smile at you, and you are going to believe, all right, this is my anchor today. Today I'm going to survive.
Huh. So through that, now what you are calling anchor is
Hmm.
probably, we can call it divinity, isn't it, Ji?
It could be
That
divinity, yes,
the
definitely. And
divinity manifesting in the world.
yes, and it will
You
present
have to
itself.
recognize that. You
You
have to
just
recognize it.
exactly, you have to
Yeah.
open, you
Can
have to
I
be
just
so open
quote
hearted to
a can I
recognize
just
it.
quote a shloka of the Gita which is
Hanji,
talking about something what Viniji has just said now?
hanji, hanji.
This is told by Venugopal ji. He is of course no more with us now, but
Hmm.
he is
May
with
his
us
soul rest
also.
in peace. Oh,
Yeah,
he's
but
with us. He's
he's
with us,
in
listening to us.
consciousness. No, he's with
Yes.
and what is so
Yeah.
special? I always remember him. I just remember how he used to call Krishna Joker. Nobody in the world can call it with that love. And one day he
Affection.
called, yeah, and he did it in the group. So I was
Hmm.
having a Dharma Sankat, should I encourage this? But he is also so senior and elderly that I cannot correct him.
Yeah.
And then he himself sent me a message and he said, actually, he fell down. At an old age, falling down is very
Hmm.
difficult, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it
And
is.
so he
Hmm.
said, see, the Joker did some trick today. So I fell and I have got hurt. And then I realized that this is his personal relation. Nobody can dare to come in between him.
Nobody dare judge it.
Ah,
Nobody dare comment on
so
it. Nobody
yes,
come in between
yes,
it. It's my
absolutely.
personal
Yeah,
dynamics
it
with
is his
him.
personal. And Krishna has told, never, no buddhi bhedam or don't touch anybody's Shraddha. That
Yeah.
Shraddha Sthan. He says, I believe in a Krishna. Let him believe in a Krishna. I believe in Krishna. No problem.
Yeah.
That is his right. His right. His authority. I'll not break it. But he told one very nice shloka. And I think what Viniji is talking about means on the
Hmm.
outside, the anchor points may change. But behind those
Hmm.
outside changes, it is that one. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra.
Hmm.
Sarvam cha mai pashyati. Tasyaham na pranashyami. Sachamena pranashyati. Means Krishna says such a person will not be lost to me, and I
Hmm.
also will not lose him. The consciousness
Yeah.
will be there. What we say, yoga kshemam vahamyam. This particular shloka helped me in one. I can actually tell because this was a very difficult question. In some of the Gita classes, I actually close my eyes or pray to Krishna only to help me answer questions which come are very difficult. One
Yeah.
participant, Anupriya ji, she is a part of our Delight family. She
Hmm.
had told, this was again in the height of the Corona pandemic.
Hmm.
That time, yeah, she had lost her husband before, and she fell sick, little sick. She was not sure if she had corona or no. And that time, everybody sneezed. Also felt that chalo ye ho gaya,
Oh yeah, such a
corona only.
horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I was talking about Abhayam Sattva Sanshuddhi, she asked me a question that I had fear that if I have corona and
Hmm.
something happens to me, what
Hmm.
will happen to my children?
To my children. Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
asked me, so is it wrong, the fear that I have? Now, who can answer? It is again a personal thing, isn't it? Can I sit here? I am
Yeah.
not married. I don't have kids. What am I going to tell her? Ki this is a
Yeah.
wrong fear. You should have. You should not have it, or you should be like this. No, I can't advise. I
Yeah, but
cannot.
it was a very, very valid fear. Like
Yeah, it is.
being a
Yes.
parent. So
So
what are you
I
going to
prayed
hold
to
on to?
Krishna.
Yeah.
I hold on to my anchor is Krishna.
Your anchor is
All
Krishna.
people.
Like I keep
So,
circling back to you, Krishna, wherever you are.
huh, so I,
I'm circling
so
back
I,
to you, you circle
yeah,
back to me.
yeah. So I asked him only ki, "Hey, tell me some sloka." Because I very honestly told her ki, Ji, I don't know if this can answer your question, but this shloka
Hmm.
first comes to mind.
Hmm.
And I said that shloka which came was Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ye Jana Paripasite Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogak Shemam Vaham Yaham. This is what Krishna has promised. That someone who
Hmm.
is always thinking of me. Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ye Jana Paripasite. Who are living that way. Their life is the upasana and they're having the constant smaran of the divine. He says,
Hmm.
Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. Experience like Sudama. I will take care of everything. That is what the shloka
Hmm.
is. I didn't go deep into the shloka because I myself was not sure if she is relating to it
If
because
she
her
could
fear is.
resonate with that, exactly. You
But
don't know. But it
but
happens.
she
Today
told
she might, yeah.
no, she told that day only that this perfectly answered her question. She says if something
Uh,
did happen to me, I have full shraddha that Krishna will take care of my children, and nothing did
yeah.
happen to her. She is doing well, and her
Yes.
child also is quite well. So
That's wonderful.
yes,
But sometimes what happens is I listen to one shloka and it doesn't resonate to me at that time. Okay. You've
ha ha,
explained to it, you explained the
yes,
why and the what's and the hows, but somewhere
ha
it
ha,
doesn't resonate with me. So basically it's because of my internal blockage. Okay. And then one fine day, I don't know, I'm just receiving that whole meaning of that shloka. I didn't ask for it. I didn't, it's just so random, and it is also most enlightening experience.
ji
And
ji,
I sit and wonder how, like, maybe I didn't need this shloka now, but I think the universe, the Krishna, he knows that, hey, listen, Vinny, now you need to understand this shloka. अब तब ना
yes,
सद्बुद्धि कम थी, but now I understand, and that made so much sense to me.
yeah,
It
absolutely.
was it was very
Yes, Jim.
confusing. I'm like, what? It is simple.
Shruti ji wants to add something. Is it Shruti ji?
Yes, is it okay if I say something, sir?
Most welcome. No, madam,
Yeah,
everybody
sir.
is welcome.
No,
Yes,
no,
ji.
actually, today even my daughter Swaha is listening to you, and she wanted to say something because
Okay,
she's a ashram
welcome.
school student. So
Most
is
welcome.
it okay? Please.
No, no,
Huh?
please
Yeah.
welcome. Namaste, Swaha. Hi.
Namaste, Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Actually, I'm a complete amateur in this group. I have no clue,
Everybody is amateur in front of Krishna.
but I was just listening, and I have a different point of view on what
Okay,
we were
Yes, correct.
sure.
discussing. And
Okay.
I might be wrong. I don't know, but I just would like to share. As in the beginning, you said the incident of a child passing away, and then his mother was grieving
Yeah.
in silence, and
Mm-hmm.
but and you also said that you were very close to your grandparents, and so was I, and even they passed away one after the other. And even till today, I cannot wrap my head around the fact that why did my nanny go? She should have been there with me. So, but somewhere I also feel that there is a beauty in grievance. There is a beauty that all of us. It it is what makes us human at the end of the day, and there is something beautiful. And I'm not saying you should not be scared of death. You should accept it, but there is also a plus side to being scared of it, because you want to make the most of the time that you have
Aha.
on
Yeah. But only maybe we will not have to have a constant fear that I am running out of time. Instead,
It's not a
let me,
constant fear, but it somewhere
but
plays
be,
at the back of your head.
we can say be cautious. We have to be cautious,
Yes,
but not
yes,
afraid, isn't it? Not
yes. Not
afraid, not
afraid. You can
anxious,
give
not
in, but
anxious.
yes,
Rajyasree
Be,
exactly.
used to always
means,
say,
Yes,
coolness.
all
and
right.
my grandmother was very sick, and she used to always say कि जो भी मेरे को दिन एक मिलता है is my bonus day today.
Mhm.
I want
And
to wear
she's
new
like, I
clothes.
want to wear new clothes. I want to leave this body. And but I have had a full life. I have enjoyed my time on earth, and now it's my time to go. She used to keep saying this. And she has told us so many times that, હું જતી રહીશ પણ રડવાનું નહીં. But
Yeah.
still, when she went, we ruddered so much.
Mhm.
But it's always difficult. But I still feel there is some beauty in holding on to.
Yeah. Yes. No, it is absolutely. Swaji has very nicely said. I don't think it is 1% amateur also. It is perfectly mature, we can say.
Thank you.
Raghaviji wanted to add to what Swaji said. Yes,
Uh,
Raghaviji.
I mean, celebrating their life is something that we should hold on to. Celebrating the fact that they lived such a wonderful life and all the good things
And,
about them. And again, we'll feel their presence more often.
and
Yes, and also
consciousness
like
does not
following
leave.
what they have said. Yes, also following that what they have told us, what they have taught us, and doing what makes them happy, I feel.
Yes, perfectly said Shrutiji. And this is something. This is
This is a
this. This
song.
is conscious. Sorry, Swaji. Yeah, I missed
No,
my
no, no
mistake.
problem.
Yeah. So but this consciousness is something which does not leave. Means the sharir changes, sharir goes. Mangal Pandey, what happened to him? Well, he was hanged, he was killed. But the fire that it rose in others also, isn't it? Or forget just Mangal Pandey only. Look at the Vedic rishis. 5,000 years ago, Krishna talked to Arjuna. One dialogue. What are we doing? We are still again and again. We are trying to understand what was told 5,000 years ago. That is eternal, isn't it? There are. It is giving light. Era has changed. We say now we are ready for a new yoga. A new yoga is coming. That time also yoga change was taking place. Same advice for the turning. When the tide was turning, Krishna talked about that great what we celebrate as the Bhagavad Gita, the dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. That's Samvada. Well, now also we are experiencing the same with joy. Means Swahaji has said something very interesting. It reminded me I had a very nice T-shirt when I was in school. It had lots of insects on it, which was very nice for me. But it's a matter of perspective. Not everybody enjoys looking at various weird insects. So my mother didn't like it at all. But somehow I was so attached to it that no matter how old it got, I did not, throw it. Ultimately, my mother had to tear it. Then only I could move on to the next T-shirt. Something like that. Our Sharira Yatra also. This is there. It goes through changes, but we have to take care. Take care because this is the joy of life. This is what makes life special as well. And when we become calm, when we realize, then there is no difference. In the ashram, there was somebody called Kusumben, a great sadhak, who had seen the mother herself and the mother of Sri Aurobindo ashram and touched her also. And she, on her last day, she was so peaceful, so quiet. She actually arranged for all the people, nice people who had met her in life to come for a gathering and they all had food and she was like a good host looking after. My sister was also invited. You see, the age difference was so much. She's in 90s. My sister was in her 20s, mid 20s that time. And she talked to her very nicely, very khana acha hai, kya?" Everything. My sister already was a little worried. What is this? This is something she never does. Why has she done it? Is everything what is going on? She was a little sensitive, so she felt something different. Something is weird about it. And truly, the next day morning, she passed away in her sleep peacefully, as if she had like, I did not want to leave debt, any debt unpaid. That is a sadhak. That is the one who is conscious. The one who is conscious in his life is also conscious all the time. And in the 8th adhyaya of the Bhagavad Gita, we see the journey also of the sadhaks. They're so conscious. We know about Bhishma, isn't it? Bhishma had a knowledge. He was waiting for a particular moment also, because he knew this is the period. Now is the period, the great Uttarayan will begin. The Marga will open for my journey. The Shukla Marga. I want to walk on that because I have had enough. I want to merge with the divine. I want to go on that path. That was his work. And what does the Gita say? The yogi is clever, the yogi is aware, and the yogi puts the onus of the choice into divine hands. He's not doing calculations that I want to go on a profitable route, which is better for me, which is not better for me. Can we decide what if can someone say I want moksha and get it by saying that?
Not at all.
I actually went into a store and I said I'm looking for nirvana. I got
What did,
nirvana. I got
how
nirvana.
how did
It
you
was
get
it is the name of the agarbatti.
product? But I think the whole understanding here could be also how do we practice our present moment awareness?
Okay, this could be something which we can probably have a detailed means the
Yeah,
Gita talks are what we go on,
yeah,
and
this
every time we uh, yes,
consciousness,
this question
the
which you have talked about, how do we
yeah,
practice it? No, how do we? This is more
mm,
important with practical everyday life. Maybe next
mm,
Saturday when we meet again, we could
yeah,
look at it. But
yeah,
just
totally.
yeah, this is everybody okay on this point? What Viniji has just shared that how do we practice being conscious? Will this be the right thing to look at?
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay, so this is always fun actually. Which topic comes up in the we don't
Like
know.
today we've
So
been discussing about grief and like everybody sharing the
no, no, we will
experiences of
complete.
loss and
Yes,
grief. Yeah, but it's
we will
such a
end on a
personal
happy note.
journey.
We
Yeah,
will end
grief
on
is
a happy
personal
note.
journey. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, so yes, Payalji wants to say something.
Ha-
Yes, ji.
Hari Om Sushruti.
Hari Om ji. Namaste
I
ji.
think we are running out of time, or like it's still time, 2 minutes.
Yeah. Please, please.
Okay. So I had written some lines. So I'm not sure that they will relate to this topic or not, but I will just try. So the title is Death Drawn Back. As we were talking about, like the people come back also, or they are revived. So on that, I'm saying, one day have to wither and fall. Life has no other call. Leaned on a side, now it's time. I felt a hold, strong and bold, like the relatives, they don't let you go. So, won't let you go. Why think so? Till now, I stood on roots. No storm, no thunder could harm, but now it's time. Finding self in good, strong hands, some hands clinging to my feet and to my waist, hugs are tightly woven, beaming by growing side by side, as never to let me go, but it will be time. Paths are rough, no regrets. I adore my bonds, who snatched the chance, uh, who snatched my chance to be in heavens, dragged me down to feel heavens in my lap, to grow in chords of cadence, and they forced death to leave and keep me going. So just passed on my thoughts.
Hari Om. Yes, it was very
Hari Om.
beautiful. Yes, it was very beautiful, Payalji, and
Thank
very
you.
much in sync with what we are all looking at. So
Thank you so
yes,
much.
for
Yes.
this understanding is something which will come naturally, it will come slowly. We don't have to force it. Again, emotions are also having their place. Let them be, but do not get carried away. Na Shochito Marhasi is what Krishna has told. To Arjuna, no, this is don't get carried away by your emotions, because what was happening to Arjuna? The duty he was forgetting.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
something which we should not. So it is something which we are We have a life which we are living. We are actually carrying a consciousness of generations which we have not, whom we have not met also, isn't it? So many generations of people. Right now,
Yes.
we are talking with each other because of sacrifice of so many people whom we don't know also actually. Right now, this entire system also, you look at just the hours put in by the scientists. They don't have, scientists are not, they don't have much traction, not many followers. They live their
That's right.
life doing research. Nobody knows all their stories. Sometimes they develop a technology which becomes obsolete the next day. They spend 20 years in doing research, developing something. But is it all a waste? No, it is not a waste, isn't it? It is a journey, a progressive evolution that is taking place, a
Right.
evolution of consciousness
Hmm.
in our inside of us. When we say Amrutasya Putra Vayam, we are the
Hmm.
children of that immortal consciousness. Which is that immortal consciousness? It is that immortal consciousness that access the Vedic wisdom, the rishis. That same immortal consciousness is inside of us only.
Yes.
And that, and we are also accessing Vedic wisdom only, slowly, slowly, according to our understanding, according to our capacity. But it is happening. That transformation is happening. We will, if I think we do have another 10 minutes. If Rajivji wants to say something, yes. And then
Thank
I would
you.
like to
Hare
thank
Krishna.
you. Hare Krishna, Payalji. Before I just go to Rajivji, I would like to just say that on a note which is very sweet, I would like to complete with whenever we decide to conclude some of the shlokas for the mind, which was said by Samartha Ramdas Swami, who is the guru of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. So he has talked about death in his Manache shlokas of the mind. They are brilliant. They are worthy of even just, it is very sweetly told to convince the mind to understand and not get lost in sorrow and depression. Because again, when one attaches, no, is a lower end, no, Atmaiva Bandhur Atmana, Atmaiva Repur Atmana. We have the friend inside, we have the enemy inside. When we attach to the enemy, we will not recognize divinity in our life. We will question everything. No moment of happiness comes to us. But when friend is there, friend will give the strength to carry through the tough times. So Rajivji, yes, please. And after that, if I will like read the Manachi Shlok, some of the shlokas. Yes,
Uh,
sir.
just while on the topic of death, the other marker which is given in the Bhagavad Gita
Ah,
is yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sadatat bhava bhavitaha. So we need to keep this also in mind, that whatever are the thoughts that are actually uppermost in our mind as we leave the body, we acquire in our next life the
yes,
potency to acquire them. So that is actually driving. So
yes,
we need to
yes.
be very
And
careful about how we go about it.
yes, yes. And again, careful in the sense is cautiousness, but no need to have the fear because in the same 8th adhyay, if I would just try to find a one shloka, yes. Antakale cha mameva smaran, what you talked about.
Yeah, this
Smaran
is just
muktva.
below that. Yeah,
Yes, yes. Smaran muktva kalevaram ya prayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samshaya. As you had already quoted it. It's like whoever while leaving the body remembers me at the time of death. If he can thus focus be, meaning he is not. Some people in the last moment also, this property should not go to that person. That is
correct,
the last dialogue. Because they're still holding on. Some people say, no, this must come. This is mine. This person who did not talk to me properly. I am going to curse him in the last moment also. But that's
correct,
not the case of a yogi. Yogi has become quiet and shanta. Shanta is a truptatma, so he's not worried. So if you can be focused, Krishna says, of traversing the unknown realms, he shall have no fear. And to the Supreme, my consciousness will take him near. Means the
right,
consciousness of the divine which is cultivated inside of that person. That
right,
consciousness is going to like a magnet getting attracted, no, like that, a magnet attracting the iron pins, something like that. That consciousness only will show the path, which will direct the path. Fear will not exist at all. And so, yes, that is one thing. So, fearlessness. We will now just look at some of the shlokas of Manachi Shlok connected. Just give me one moment. If anybody wants to add anything, you are always welcome. This is Gita Talks, so nobody needs to ask permission. We are
My
talking.
point,
Yes, sir.
like
Yes, you.
what we do right now is practicing to remember
Hmm.
the divine at the time of our death.
Smaran, yes. And whenever it has to come, it can
Whenever
come
it has,
now,
whenever
whenever
it
it
has,
has to come.
like
No,
we are practicing it.
yes, yes. Smaran, our head,
So,
our job, that is divine's headache.
mm,
Calculating the moment or finding it out. It's not ours. Ours is only Smaran, isn't it?
actually, practice makes perfect, right? At that
Yes, yes,
moment come, we have to be ready.
yes, yes, yes. So this is a beautiful Manacha Shloka where Krishna talks about, I mean, not Krishna, Samartha Ramdas Swami. He says, let us see, I'll just read out shlokas 12, 13, 14, and 15, 16. These are the ones. I will just read out the Marathi verses and try to translate because my Marathi is not so good. You can please correct me because it is important that the correct meaning goes. So if something is wrong, you please correct me. विवेके देहे बुद्धि सोडूनि द्यावी विदेहीपणे मुक्तिभोगी तजावी मना सांग पारावणा काय झाले अकस्मात ते राज्य सर्वे बुडाले. Um, this viveki dehe buddhi, the buddhi which is connected with only the deha, the sharira, the attachment towards what is on the outside only. Let the viveka, that viveka is something. Okay, there are two more lines are there in the start. I think this will let us look at first two lines and next two lines. Mana manasi dukkha anu na kore, mana sarvatha shoka chinta na kore, viveke dehe buddhi sodu nidyavi, vedehi pane mukti bhogi tazavi. So mana manasi dukkha anu na kore. Oh dear mind, don't bring the sorrow inside of it. Means it's like training your mind. No, no, don't bring sorrow inside. It's okay. So let the sorrow's clouds be outside. Don't bring it inside. Mana sarvatha shoka chinta na kore. Don't, not all the time. Yes, you can feel sad. It is all human experience. It is a natural emotion. Emotions, we feel fluctuations. Krishna also faced, no, Arjuna, chanchalam hi manah Krishna. My, my mind, what adhyatmic knowledge you are telling, my mind is always fluctuating. But no, not always. Let us not have that. Viveke dehe buddhi sodu nidyabi. Let the viveka get awakened. What is viveka? The ability to discriminate that which is right, that which is wrong. So when you are understanding, then you understand. Dehe dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara. The deha is going to go through changes. I can color my hair as much as I want to show I am young. But how many years can I continue that? 10 years? 20 years? Or even if I continue till my entire life, when I am coloring my hair, I'll know, isn't it? That I am what is white, I am trying to whitewash it or color it with some other color, with black. So I know that truth. So this is something which we must understand. Videhi pani mukti bhogi tazavi. So again, the bhoga, we should have the lila, we should enjoy the lila of the life, isn't it? The rasa is there. Rasoham apsu kaunteya. Krishna says, I am there. I am there. Experience the Krishna Tattva. Experience the joy of every moment. Every moment can become a divine moment. It can become a lila if we become conscious. So, Videhi Pane Mukti Bhogi Tazave. Then again, he gives a beautiful example. Example of Ravana. What happened to Ravana? Strong Deha, isn't it? Very strong Deha, so powerful that he was controlling even the grahas. But what happened ultimately? It says, मना सांग पा रावणा काय झाले अकस्मात ते राज्य सर्वे बुडाले म्हणून कुडी वासना सांडी वेगी बळे लागला काळ हा पाठी लागी. What happened ultimately to Ravana? His entire kingdom came crashing down. That is why don't get trapped. Don't run after the desires only. The Kara is there, isn't it? Kalaya Tasmai Namaha, we say. Kara will not leave you. Karma is there. Karma phala will come after the karmas. So do not go on the wrong path. Remember, see what happened to Ravana. Just ahankar, ahankar. Both great. Ravana was also great. Black side of Rama, as Sri Aurobindo says. We can learn so much from Rama. We can learn so much from Ravana also. He is also a guru. Only Rama teaches us what we should do. Ravana teaches what we should not do. So, but remember that is what he says. Look at what happened to Ravana. Because these examples we learn better. We learn better quickly when we say, Arey, this is not what we want to do. Then he goes on further. This Ramdas Swami says, Samartha Ramdas Swami says, Jiva karma yoge jani janma zhala परिसेवटी काळमुखी निमाला महाथोरते मृत्युपंथे चिगेले किती एकते जन्मले आणि मेले. So he says, see, how many karma yogis, how many great karma yogis were born, but ultimately what happened? Even after doing great karma, they did die, isn't it? Ultimately, they did. महाथोरते मृत्युपंथेची गेले किती एकते जन्मले and मेले आणि मेले. What we saw in Vishwarupa also, all the heroes rushing into that mouth of fire, no, of that Vishwarupa. Arjuna was scared. He was saying, what is this? All the heroes that I understand, because that is a truth of life. That's what this is also being told. मनापाहता सत्य है मृत्यु भूमि जिता बोलती सर्व ही जीव मीमी चिरंजीव हे सर्व हिमानिताति अकस्मात सांडूनिया सर्वजाति. This is a mrityu bhumi. Mrityu is a truth in this bhumi which we must accept it. But you see, while living, what do? We only say I. What happens to that I? It gets spilt afterwards. It disappears into dust. We return. That is a truth, is what is said. मरे एक त्याचा दुजा शोक वाहे अकस्मात तोही पुढे जात आहे पुरे ना जनी लोभरे शोभत्या ते म्हणोज म्हणोनी जनी मागुता जन्म घेते. When one person dies, for him the beloved cries. But it is the Yaksha Prashna, isn't it? Everybody thinks death will happen to somebody else, not themselves. They are not conscious that we are also. It is a path, it is a part of life, it is a part which must be understood. That is why leave all of this Lobha and Shobha. Both of this is what Krishna is, what Samarth Ramdas Swami is saying. Because what will happen? Remember what happened to Ravana. He ran after his vasanas and ultimately time caught up with him. Kara caught up with him. So I think this is one aspect. We will probably stop here with this. Vinny ji gave a very nice topic for us to think about. Is we are all followers. We have an anchor, isn't it, in our life? So we are not alone, or we're not worried, or we're not scared of what is unknown, because we have an anchor that is conscious, that is the divine. But probably how do we hold the divine, or how do we practically experience that, or something about that, maybe we can have our next discussion. But should we call it a day, today's discussion on death? Yes, can we call it a day? Can someone summarize something what we saw today? Shruti ji generally gives the best summaries. Yes.
Yes,
Anybody?
Hare Krishna. I
Oh
shall
yes, Shruti ji is here. Okay, yes, I thought I did not see you on the screen, so I thought I had
I,
missed. Okay, that's
yes,
very
I
nice. I'm also looking
missed.
forward to it.
Yeah,
Ji.
today I shall just try in brief because there were so many Maharathis also who spoke so nicely. Of course, as always, Rajiv ji, itna sab atna bolte hai, Vinny ji, everybody. And today we started with the topic of death. That why can't we accept death? And you started with the first Bhagavad Gita shlok of Karma Kshetra Kurukshetra. And then you even give the example of the second chapter shlok that soul is not burnt and it doesn't, no Shastra can destroy it. But then yet, why are we crying? So you told us only if we stop crying, then only can we wipe others' tears. But then why do we fear so much? It is maybe because we are scared to accept the unknown. And then you told us that Chetana, consciousness is definitely there. They're not visible, but it is there. We are ignorant and not conscious because maybe of our ahankar or swabhav, which is making us unaware. But if our sanskaras are good, maybe then we can be on the path of consciousness. And then you spoke about the eighth chapter, journey of the soul, and this metaphysics of the soul. It is avyakta, but it is present. And you also say that our personal emotions should not block the journey of the departed soul. We have to let go. We should not be scared, but be conscious. Be cautious. And there should be nirpaksha tears. But our tears are mainly due to swartha. And the truth that is eternal, omnipresent, that body will undergo changes. This is a part of Srishti. It will definitely perish, but we need this body to do our karmas, dharma, sadhana. So we have to take care of our body and perform our work for the whole lifespan. But eventually, of course, all belongs to the divine. He is the owner. We are just the caretakers, and we can enjoy the bhoga, the joy of life, says Krishna, because body is temporary. We are caretakers of this body, which is received from the divine. And with this awareness, Krishna consciousness is possible. And you gave the example of Mukam Karoti Vachalam. So transformation from a septic to a seeker of Arjuna was also possible due to his consciousness. And we should not fear the Prayanakal, which can be any time. It should be welcomed if we are always Krishna consciousness, we are doing Smaran all the time, then we need not fear about the Prayan Kal, which can come anytime. Even the Vedic rishis, they had eternal knowledge, Vedic knowledge. And you spoke about the Samvad in the Bhagavad Gita and the Sharira Yatra. But the joy of life also has to be realized. And we have to be extremely conscious so that we don't have fear of the unknown. And you gave the example of Bhishma Pita and about the Uttarayana period. He was a Ichha Mrityu, but yogi is aware and clever. But divine, of course, knows what is the best. There's no calculation which we can do. It's all up to the divine. So we have to just do our duty and not get carried away and do Smaran all the time. This is what I think I understood in today's class.
Ji. Perfectly summarized as ever, Shruti ji. Thank you. And Sahaji also gave a very nice example, isn't it? That is also something
Yeah,
which definitely. Yes, yes.
Hare
So, all
Krishna.
right. Hare Krishna. So, thank you very much. This is generally a very difficult topic, but I think with the wonderful company, even difficult topics become very easy. So, I would say all of you, thank you. Thank you so much for very nice insights. But this is one thing, I think ultimately it all boils down to the consciousness, to recognize that, to experience that. And Vinny ji has asked a question, but I'll just message Vinny ji to post in the group exactly the words, because those words I remember were very nice. So we will probably vote on if that is the topic we want for next week. We can see that. And if anybody has any suggestions also, you are welcome with your topic for the next Saturday. So I will, if I can conclude, everybody is okay with it. Can I conclude with the Shanti Mantra? Yes?
Yes, yes, yes.
All right.
Yes.
Fine. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kashchit dukkha bhag bhavet. Hari Om Tat Sat. Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. Jai Shri Krishna. Milamaha. Next week.
Hare
Looking
Krishna.
forward. Hare
Hari
Krishna
Bol.
ji.
Hare
Hari
Krishna.
Bol. Hare Krishna ji. Hari Om. Hari
Yes.
Om.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna ji.
Hare
Namaskar.
Krishna.
Hari Om ji.
Thank you so much.
Thank you ji. Thank you.
Hare
Hari
Krishna.
Om, Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om ji. Hari Om. Jai Shri
Shubh
Krishna.
sabko.
Shubhratri ji. Very nice to meet everybody. Thank you. Hari Om Raghavi ji. I'll close the session.